Item number 1, welcome. Almighty God, we pray for your blessing upon this council, help and prosper its work for the advancement and benefit of its people, so that peace and happiness, unity and justice may be established among us all. Amen. Manningham Council acknowledges the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people as the traditional owners of lands and waterways now known as Manningham. Council pays respect to elders past, present and emerging and values their ongoing contribution to enrich and appreciate the cultural heritage of Manningham. Councillors, I'd also like to welcome you to Poor Neat, or the tadpole season, which happens between September and October. And of course, this is in Wurundjeri culture. And Poor Neat season, the temperatures rise, the rain continues, the tadpoles populate the waterholes and the currawongs call. It marks a beautiful time of year in Manningham. Council also acknowledges and values the contribution made to Manningham over the years by people of diverse backgrounds and cultures. I welcome all members of the public who have joined us in person and online to observe tonight's proceedings. I'd like to advise that tonight's meeting is being audio and video recorded. All care will be taken to maintain your privacy. However, as a visitor in the public gallery, your presence may be recorded. By remaining in the gallery, it is assumed your consent is given if your voice and/or image is broadcast by council. No additional recording of the meeting is permitted without council's consent. Council's meetings are conducted in accordance with our governance rules. I will introduce each item of business as listed on the agenda, calling it by number and reading the title. I'll then call for a mover and a seconder of a motion on the item before opening any debate. Only councillors can join the debate on an item. Councillors may adopt the officer's recommendation in the report or propose amendments and supplementary motions. I'd like to draw your attention to item 7 on tonight's agenda. Public question time provides people with an opportunity to ask questions of the council. Council's allocated 30 minutes for question time, and the process for public question time is set out in our governance rules. Questions must be received prior to the start of the meeting to be asked. Where we receive advance notice of a question in accordance with our governance rules, we will provide a verbal response to the question at our meeting. Questions we receive just prior to the meeting may be taken on notice if we don't have the information available to provide a meaningful response. If this happens, we will provide you with a written response to your question within 10 working days. Our governance rules provide that we will deal with a maximum of 2 questions per person and up to 4 questions on any one issue. These rules will be enforced to ensure a broad range of topics and perspectives can be heard during question time. When it is your turn to ask a question, I'll ask you to come forward to the lectern in the gallery. After you ask your question, you'll have 2 minutes to make a brief statement. If you have more than 2 questions, please submit these additional questions in writing to council through the normal channels. To ensure the efficient conduct of our meeting and maximum participation during question time, all questions and answers shall be as brief as possible and no discussion will be entered into. Councillors and the gallery are reminded that question time is to be conducted in a respectful manner, having consideration to the diverse views of those present. Any disorderly conduct will be managed in accordance with our governance rules. Item number 2, apologies and requests for leave of absence. There are no apologies tonight. Councillors, are there any requests for leave of absence?
Councillors, I have submitted a written request to the CEO for a leave of absence from 17 September 2025 to 20 December 2025.
Councillors, thank you, Councillor Mayne. Councillors, can I have a motion for granting leave of absence to Councillor Mayne?
Sorry, happy to do that, Madam Mayor. The Council grants leave of absence to Councillor Laura Mayne from her councillor duties for the period from 17 September 2025 to 20 December 2025 inclusive.
Thank you, Councillor Grievous. Do I have a seconder?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Chen. I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? And that's carried unanimously. We will miss you, Councillor. Item number 3, prior notification of conflict of interest. Councillors, I have received a prior notification of conflict of interest from our Chief Executive Officer.
Councillor, I've submitted a written disclosure of conflict of interest to the Mayor for item 13.1, appointment of independent advisor to the CEO Employment and Remuneration Committee. My interest in this item is material conflict of interest as this matter directly relates to my employment and remuneration. I will leave the meeting prior to consideration of item 13.1.
Thank you, Andrew. Would any other councillor like to give notice of a conflict of interest? And there are none. Thank you, councillors. Item number 4, confirmation of minutes. Do I have a mover?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the minutes of the council meeting held on the 22nd of July 2025 and the council meeting held on the 31st of July 2025 be confirmed.
Thank you, councillor Bain. Do I have a seconder?
I second the motion.
Thank you, councillor Eltaha. I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? And that's carried unanimously. Item number 5, presentations. Motion of condolence, passing of the Very Reverend Father Elias Controtus. Councillors, it is with deep sadness that I must inform you of the recent passing of the Very Reverend Father Elias of the Greek Orthodox parish of St. Haralambos, Templestowe and Doncaster. Father Elias faithfully served the Holy Church for 49 years, including 37 years as the founding priest of St. Haralambos in Templestowe. His unwavering dedication, kindness and leadership has touched many in our community. May his memory and legacy of faith, wisdom and love be eternal. Do I have a mover for this motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move that Council places it on record its sadness at the recent passing of the Reverend Father Elias, record its appreciation for the contribution by Father Elias to Manningham community, and also to extend its sympathy and condolences to Father Elias's family during this difficult time.
Thank you, Councillor Griffiths. Do I have a seconder?
I second the motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Eltaha. Councillor Griffiths, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillors, the Very Reverend Father Elias was born in 1951 on October 11th. He was actually born in Brisbane and unfortunately passed away on the 23rd of August. Father Elias was born and raised the son of a Greek Orthodox family. He was a third-generation Australian, proudly carrying the traditions and faith of his ancestors. His father was from the islands of Kythera and Egina, and his mother's heritage was from Costa Lourdes and Chios. If you're not aware, councillors, in 1974 he was awarded a scholarship to study theology at the Theological School of the University of Thessalonica. During this time, he lived at Moni Vlaton Monastery, immersing himself in the liturgy of spiritual life of the Church. He was ordained to the priesthood on the Feast of the Holy Spirit. In 1979, he returned to Australia and was sent to Melbourne to serve the growing Orthodox faithful at that time. And in July of that year, he established the first parish of the Presentation of Our Lord in Coburg, one of the first parishes here in Melbourne. And in 1988 is when he founded the parish of St. Haralambos in Templestowe, where he faithfully served as parish priest and spiritual father until his rest in 2025. Councillors, alongside his beloved presbytera, we call them, his wife Starola, whom he married in 1976, Father Elias's greatest joy was his family. They were blessed with 5 children: Eleni with her husband Nick, who's a good friend of mine, Dimitri with his wife Mary, Eleftherios with his wife Iris, Konstantinos, who unfortunately passed away, and also Maria, who we see quite often at the church. His love extended to even further his 9 grandchildren: Luke, Ileana, Michael, Christina, Stephanie, Nicholas, Elias, Christos and Ava, each of whom he embraced as a special gift from God. Father Elias is remembered as a beloved spiritual father to many, including our family as well. He did so much for our family. A pioneer of the English language within the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of Melbourne and a man of deep faith and devotion. his 49 years of priestly service, including 37 years here at St. Heralambos, leave behind a living legacy of Christ, his church, and the Greek Australian faithful. May his memory be ever eternal, as we say in Greek, eoniatou ymni.
Thank you, Councillor Grievous. Councillor El-Tahar, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, please, Madam Mayor. It's with a heavy heart that I honour the memory of the Very Reverend Father Elias, a faithful servant of the community who dedicated over 30 years of his life to St. Heralambos in Templestowe. It was an honour to have met him and to have attended his services. He led with dedication, humility, wisdom and unwavering devotion. Whether through his prayers, his sermons or his quiet acts of kindness, he brought so much to the community he served. He baptised children, married loved ones, comforted those in grief, and stood beside the community in moments of both joy and sorrow. His hands blessed countless foreheads, his voice lifted countless prayers, and his presence was nothing but a pillar in this community. I give my absolute condolences to his family and those in the Greek community who are suffering from his loss, and I also reiterate Councillor Grievous's prayers. May his memory be eternal. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor El-Tahar. Would any other councillors like to speak to the motion? Well, I will put that to a vote. All those in favour? Thank you, councillors, and my condolences to the family and to the whole community impacted by this sad news. Item 5.2, King's Birthday 2025 Honour Award recipients. Councillors, I would like to acknowledge and congratulate the Manningham residents who have received King's Birthday 2025 Honour Awards. The first is Miss Karen Millward, who was acknowledged for her significant service to Indigenous advocacy and to reconciliation, and she is a member of our very own Reconciliation Action Group. And Mr. Seats Waterham, who was acknowledged for service to the community through charitable organisations. Can we give them a round of applause, please, councillors? Item 5.3, Staff Service Awards. Councillors, we've a number of staff who've recently celebrated significant milestones in their years of service here at Manningham. I would like to acknowledge the following council officers. For 20 years of service, we have Rick Ainsworth in the Sustainable Maintenance team, Brian Dorber, who is in the Management Accounting team, and Simone Smith in the Capital Works team. For 25 years of service, we have Fiona Corellia, who is in the Rates and Valuations team, Deborah McLaren in the Environmental Health team, Sharon Peters, Community Projects and Planning team, and Sarwan Singh in the City Compliance team. For a staggering 30 years of service, we have Zach Ander, Community Projects and Planning team, and for an extraordinary 35 years of service, Jason Kerr, who is in the Sustainable Maintenance team. I would sincerely like to thank all of their staff for their contributions, their dedication and hard work during their time at Council. We're very proud of our staff here at Manningham. Congratulations on all your outstanding efforts. Item number 6, petitions. 6.1. I note that written responses have been provided to the lead petitioners from the 30 June and 22nd of July 2025 council meetings, and these responses are included in the agenda. These will be recorded in the minutes in accordance with sub-rule 58.9 of the governance rules. Councillors, we have received one petition for tabling tonight. Pedestrian safety measures and wildlife protection on Porter Street, Templestowe. Do I have a mover?
I'd like to move the motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor El-Tahar. And could you read the motion?
Oh, sure. I'd like to move that the petition with 71 signatories requesting Council to take various traffic measures regarding pedestrian safety and wildlife protection on Porter Street in Templestowe to be tabled and referred to the relevant officers for response. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Eltaha. Do I have a seconder?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Mayne. Councillor Eltaha, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just briefly, I just wanted to acknowledge that this petition had a large number of signatories, showing the importance of this particular issue to the members of the Templestowe community. And it is also one that people around the area do discuss with me frequently, especially as the works in the area have been happening. So I appreciate the efforts that the community members have done to raise awareness internally to officers on this topic, and I look forward to receiving a response from officers as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Mayne, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I will put that to a vote. All those in favour? And that's carried. Thank you, councillors. Item number 7, public question time. We have received a few questions for tonight's council meeting. Anyone who has registered a question with council will have the opportunity to read out their question or choose to have their question read out by the CEO. Our first question tonight comes from Lau. As Lau is not present in the gallery this evening, I'll invite the CEO, Mr. Andrew Day, to read the question on their behalf.
Thank you, Mayor. And to give some context, these questions relate to the demolition works at 2 Frederick Street that have caused significant dust and debris and impacted on air quality for residents. And the first question is, given that no protection notice has been issued and affected adjoining owners have not been consulted, how did the council or the relevant building surveyor approve the demolition works at 2 Frederick Street? And the second question is, as the council's delay in responding to the planning permit allowed the developer to secure approval via VCAT, what steps will the council now take to ensure proper enforcement of environmental and safety obligations, including dust suppression and clean-up, and who will be held responsible for the damage already caused?
Thank you, Andrew. I'm going to ask Julia Genby, who is the Acting Director of City Planning and Livability, to provide a response.
And thank you, Lau, for the question. In Victoria, demolition works are regulated under the Building Act 1993 and the Building Regulations 2018. In this instance, demolition works at 2 Frederick Street, Doncaster, only require a building permit. These permits are issued by registered private building surveyors. For demolition works, protection works notices are generally not required. However, it is the responsibility of the registered private building surveyor to determine if one is required to protect adjoining properties. And in relation to question 2, planning application PLN 24/0017 was considered by the Victorian Civil and Administrative Tribunal, VCAT, which determined to issue a planning permit subject to conditions. The planning permit issued on the 16th of October 2024 includes a total of 40 conditions that the developer is required to comply with. Notably, condition 11 of the permit requires the submission of a detailed construction management plan, which is a CMP, addressing key matters such as public safety, amenity and site security, operating hours, noise and vibration controls, air quality and dust management, stormwater and sediment control and tree protection, waste minimisation and traffic and parking management. It has been identified that demolition works commenced prior to the submission and assessment of the CMP. Our compliance officers are currently investigating this matter. We will continue to engage with the relevant parties affected and undertake any necessary enforcement actions in accordance with statutory requirements. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Our next question is from Jim Arena, and as Jim is not present in the gallery this evening, I'll again invite our CEO to read the question on his behalf.
Thank you, Mayor. And again, for context, these questions relate to the Manningham men's shed. And the first question is, what is the council doing to secure a new premise for the men's shed? And what is the time frame that has been allocated for relocation?
Thank you, Andrew. I'm going to ask Vanessa Bove, who is the Acting Director of Connected Communities, to provide a response.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Jim, for your questions. A needs assessment was recently completed to understand the current and future needs of the men's sheds in our community. As part of this work, current providers, including the Manningham's Men's Shed, was consulted with. This process identified the need to find a suitable home for the Manningham Men's Shed. Detailed investigations into several possible sites are now underway in relation to determine the most suitable location based on the shed's needs. In relation to question 2, these investigations will continue during this financial year. The findings will help inform a future capital budget proposal for developing or improving a new facility. We will continue to work closely with the men's shed throughout this process, and officers will be in touch to arrange a meeting with the shed representatives. In the meantime, the condition of the current facility will continue to be monitored. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa, and thank you for the questions. Item number 8, admission of urgent business, and there are no items of urgent business. Item number 9, planning permit applications, and there are no planning permit applications. Item number 10, city planning. 10.1, statutory planning application activity Q4, April to June 2025. Do I have a mover? Councillor Chen.
I move that the recommendation be adopted.
Thank you, Councillor. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Goff. Councillor Chen, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, I do. Thank you. And the report table tonight for noting provides an overview for Q4, that is April to June 2025, of statutory planning application activities required by a CEO KPI 2024-25. So, according to the report, there were 819 planning applications received for 2024-25 financial year, and 215 applications were submitted in Q4. A total of 333 applications have been decided for the 2024-25 financial year. For Q4, 173 applications were decided. 138 planning permits were issued. There were 4 refusals and equate to only about 2% of the decisions. Council's decision made within 60 statutory days was near 77%, above the metropolitan average of 66.4%. For Q4, our performance reached near 87%, continues to be above the metropolitan average of 68.38%. Council's Big Smart applications decided within 10 business days performed very well. For Q4, it was 97.3%. There were 20 appeals for this financial year, including 6 appeals lodged for Q4. A breakdown of the nature of the appeals are included in this report. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the statutory planning team and your performance in application processing time this quarter, and look forward to ongoing process improvement. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Chen. Councillor Goff, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to get up. And yes, I suppose at first look are very good figures on our planning team and the work that's being done in the area. But I don't believe that comparing us to the wider metropolitan area is a fair judgment. If I was to say that we didn't do our job in time in 23% of the time, so we do it, you'd say that wasn't really good. And really, in my opinion, that 60-day rule, especially for planning permit applications, needs to be done. We had a question just before about one that wasn't made on time and the problems that occurred from that particular point and went to VCAT. But in reality,
We have more than 60 days. It's not 60 days from when you put it in. It's 60 days of us considering it. And if our teams need to be able to make a decision with 60 days of consideration, the clock stops, as everyone knows, from the moment our people write a letter or an email to somebody asking a question about the application, it freezes. So 60 days can actually come to 1 year, in some cases 2 years, of things hanging on, with things being sent out and dripped out by council. Now, that's the first thing. So it's great work that we've done, and compared to the rest of Victoria, really great, but in real expectations of a society that needs more buildings and dwellings put up, we've got a housing shortage. It concerns me of two things. One is the time in which it can take for people to get housing developed through here. But secondly, the number of applications that are coming in. Because the number of applications that are coming in are going down over the last few years, and the trend is continuing to go down. And I just wonder, we need to monitor that, because how is Victoria, in the broader sense, going to be able to get houses when people aren't even wanting to develop and put the private development into areas? It's something that we've got a problem in Victoria somehow, that investment is leaving Victoria and going to other states. Developers are saying it's too hard to develop in Victoria, it's too complex and it takes too long. And I don't know how we're going to turn that around for the people that live in our areas of Melbourne, and for the greater constituents of people that have moved and want to live in Victoria and Melbourne, if the system isn't set up to actually smoothly go. But it can only smoothly go if there are people willing to invest money. And it seems to me the number of people, as I read these reports going over the last 3 years, and the numbers going down, and I know it's only a micro shot at what's going on, is reducing. So what and I'm wondering if into the future we could actually...
Time.
May I get an extension?
May I move for Councillor Goff to get an extension?
Thank you, Councillor Lang. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Elderhart. I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? And it's granted. You have 2 further minutes, Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's an issue that local government on the broad field needs to address, is that if people are fleeing Victoria to invest in other places because that's easier to invest, it doesn't matter how much a government wants to have more housing and how much it wants to do. If people aren't prepared to invest in this area and invest their own money, then the government doesn't seem to have the money to actually do the investing. I don't know how we're going to reach the targets that the state government are asking our local government area to actually fulfil, because people aren't prepared, it seems to me, to invest into Victoria at the moment. I don't know what needs to change. I'm not at that elated level of state government, but obviously people are fleeing elsewhere, and a lot of people that are owning properties are selling them and not developing them themselves, or not doing that, and someone else may be living it. The investment is not increasing as our population increases into our area, and we can see that run down over a period of time of the number of applications. So I'm just wondering if we can get a report of what issues and what things may be into the future at some stage to do that. I might ask that question later on when I get to ask my questions. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Goff. Do I have any speakers against the motion? Do I have any other speakers for the motion? I might just speak briefly to the motion. I firstly want to acknowledge the work of the team and acknowledge Councillor Goff's comments about 87% within the statutory time clock. I do also want to acknowledge that there's been a significant workload that our team has had to absorb in trying to accommodate, understand, interpret and apply the government's planning reforms, including deemed to comply, which has been significant and continues to be significant, and they have another workshop to try and interpret it. So I do want to also acknowledge that impact. I think the statistics around the 2% of refusals that Councillor Chen talked about, as well as only 20 appeals in the financial year, do also speak to how strong the statutory planning team is in reviewing these applications and also coming up with outcomes for livable homes. And that's something that we will continue to address. And I just want to also note Councillor Goff's comments around the need for investment and how we can increase the number of applications. And I'm always interested in the number of applications that have been approved and then lapse as well. Would any other councillors like to speak to the motion? I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? And that's carried unanimously. Item number 11, connected communities, and there are no connected community reports this month. Item number 12, city services. 12.1, end of 2024-25 financial year capital works report. Do I have a mover?
I move the motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Lang. Do I have a seconder?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Mayne. Councillor Lang, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, this is a good story for our teams because in the 2024-25 financial year, Council did deliver a strong capital works program, spending $45.74 million, which is 98% of our budget. And that's a total of 220 projects, 184 completed and reached their planning milestones, and that's a solid 84% completion, and they are very high results. Yes, there was a slower third quarter, but then that was made up with a really strong fourth quarter, ensuring that Council met its key targets of 90% of our capital works budget being spent and delivered. Now, that is no easy feat with all of those resources that we were just talking about. So what was done? Well, around 53% was spent in renewing existing infrastructure, 25% in upgrades, and the program covers a wide range of activities from your roads to your traffic works to your community facilities, open spaces, and there is many projects all listed for our capital works. So about 4.5 million was carried forward. That is an improvement from the last year, which was 5.3 million. And there was, however, a net spend of 4.5 million in rates funded projects, but that was because of delays in external funded projects. So the carry forward projects, which then were moved forward, were more heavily on council rates. So that's where that overspend was. But to offset that, savings will be looked for in projects that are completed earlier. And I believe Templestowe Route was one of those projects. So that's another pleasing result. So overall, councillors, we can be confident and reassured that we have a strong capital expenditure, consistently high, I might say, over the last 5 years, and council has delivered on majority of its planned works. Infrastructure renewed, maintained, upgraded, and delivered in line with our expectations. So well done to the team.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Mayne, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I think this report really captures Manningham's strong commitment to delivering infrastructure that meets the needs of our growing and evolving community. As Councillor Lang has already discussed, we achieved an impressive total capital expenditure of almost 46 million, which represented 98% of our forecast budget, and 220 infrastructure projects, which is a really significant accomplishment and reflects the dedication of our teams and contractors in ensuring projects were delivered effectively and efficiently. I think it's worth noting that the nature of this investment this year reflects a strong focus on sustainability and long-term asset management, with 52.6% of our expenditure directed towards renewal projects, ensuring our existing infrastructure remains safe, functional and fit for purpose, and a further 25.5% was allocated to upgraded works, enhancing the quality and the capacity of our assets to meet these future demands. So the infrastructure ranges from anywhere from roads to buildings to drainage to sport to playground to footpaths to art and to so much more, all projects that support the needs of our current community as well as laying the foundation for future generations, which is just so important. So finally, I'd like to thank the council officers, contractors and community stakeholders for all their contributions to this year's success. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mayne. Do I have any speakers against the motion? Any other speakers for the motion? Councillor Goff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and it's actually a really good report here, and it's a really good outcome for the year, and it's a great summary that is probably already in our annual report. But I'd just like to congratulate whoever set out the template for this report with the photos and the headings and the listings in all of the different areas. It's extremely easy to read, and it's a fantastic document to actually refer to, and it makes it easy to see in all of those particular areas what we've actually spent, and attachment to going and putting into perspective where the money's coming into different projects throughout it. But I'd like to congratulate those reports, and in fact it does sort of say, I have so many people coming up to me now that never used to come up to me and say, oh, there's so much work going on, there are so many things that are going on, this is happening in our area. And people are genuinely excited that council rates are being used to provide the infrastructure for our community, which is why people pay rates. In my opinion, Madam Mayor, it is a body corporate fee in many ways, where the owners of the properties pay money for the upkeep of the area and the properties. And in fact, the more we can show that, the happier I believe our constituents will be about the performance of council, because they're seeing money being spent on things that are required to make the area. And in my opinion, and I've always said this as a councillor, council is there to provide the infrastructure for the area, the activities. The community have to get involved and run the activities. But we're there for the infrastructure to provide the plate in which our community can work as a community and do their stuff. It's not up to us to do that stuff. It's up to the community to work together to do that, but it's up to us to provide the area for people to actually be able to do those things. And I think we are doing that, and I do love the report. It reads very nicely. Thank you very much.
Great feedback.
And I don't say that very often.
No, thank you, Councillor Goff. Great feedback. Anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Chen.
Well, I have to echo Councillor Jeff's comment. Who is the councillors very difficult to please? But because of that, I also wish to encourage our residents to read the comprehensive report, which is really well written and very, with all the colours pictures Councillor Goff has mentioned. I have just to say that, well, by reading that, you can see the delivery of our capital works through many programs. So that is demonstrated in the report. For example, that you can see they provide inviting places and spaces through the programs such as sports ground redevelopment program, recreation leisure program, community facilities program, building programs. And for the capital works, that also provide enhanced parks and open spaces and streetscapes through the parks program, through the open space programs. And also we want to deliver well-connected services and accessible travel options through bicycle network programs, footpath programs, roads programs, just name a few, because the report contains more programs than I just named, and also detailed each project's, the budget, the actual spend, the percentage spend, and actually the status of delivery. So it's very well-written report and very, very happy to read. Always bring a smile on my face. So by reading that report, thank you. And thank you, Jeff Cole.
Thank you, Councillor Chen, for your feedback. Anton, you'll have to take this feedback back to the team. I might put that to a vote. All those in favour? It's carried unanimously. Thank you again. Item number 13, experience and capability. 13.1, appointment of independent advisor to the CEO Employment and Remuneration Committee.
Councillors, I wish to declare that I have a material conflict of interest in this item as the matter directly relates to my employment and remuneration. I will be leaving the chamber for the duration of this item. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Andrew. Do I have a mover for this item? Councillor Chen?
I move that the recommendation be adopted.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Griffiths. Councillor Chen, would you like to speak to the motion? Councillor Griffiths, would you like to speak to the motion? Do I have any councillors against the motion? Do I have any other councillors who would speak for the motion? All councillors, I will speak. Councillor Lang?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I just wanted to say that, councillors, this is a really important appointment as we look to appoint an independent advisor. That independent advisor is there to guide us as a committee to do one of the most important appointments that we do for this organisation, and that is to remunerate and employ the CEO. And so an independent advisor, their remit needs to be clear, their professionalism and the way that they conduct themselves needs to be exemplary, and also the expertise and advice that they can give, both mediating as well as coordinating the process, needs to be of an expert level. And so I'm pleased that we are appointing Richard for this position.
Thank you, Councillor Lang. I will put that to a vote then. All those in favour? And that's carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. I'll just ask our CEO to return. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to move to item number 13.2, Audit and Risk Committee Independent Member Reappointment. Do I have a mover?
Madam Mayor, I move the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Lang. And as a member of the Audit and Risk Committee, I'll also second the motion. Councillor Lang, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, please, Madam Mayor. Councillors, in this recommendation, Council is recommending to reappoint Mr Jonathan Kevelius as an independent member of the Audit and Risk Committee for a second 3-year term. So that is running from the 27th of August 2025 to the 30th of September 2028. As you know, my passion for the Audit and Risk Committee, and I believe that it's an absolutely crucial role in Council's governance. It provides that independent oversight of our financial and performance reporting. It looks at monitoring our internal and our external audits. It reviews risk management, internal controls, ensures compliance with the Local Government Act as well as ministerial directions. It is really an important committee. So Mr Kevelius joined the committee in July 2022, and throughout his term he's provided strong advice on Council's financial statements, audit processes and risk management, drawing on his own expertise in local government as well as audit experience. As a chartered accountant, registered company auditor, and currently serves on other local government audit and risk committees, including one as chair, he is an expert and an asset to our Manningham Audit and Risk Committee. Reappointing Mr Kevelius will maintain stability, ensure the committee continues to benefit from his expertise, but it's also looking at staggering our terms for the members for the continuity. So Mr Vadelius' skills will complement our ones of Mr Andrew Dix, our long-standing chair, and his term ends in 2026. We also have Ms Sharon Copeland-Smith, and she's just been recently appointed in 24, and hers ends in 27. So by staggering all these appointments, we make sure there's continuity in the audit and risk. So the reappointment will be funded from the existing budget with the independent member fees, and overall, reappointing, I believe, Mr Jonathan Cavelius will ensure Council retains a strong performing audit and risk committee, providing that strong governance. And that's really important to us as councillors, because it is oversight in line with our council plan, because we committed to being a well-governed and innovative council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lang. Do I have any speakers against the motion? Any other speakers for the motion? I will put that to a vote. All those in favour? And that's again carried unanimously. I'm going to move to item 13.3, MAV State Council motion, October 2025. And councillors, I would like to move this motion. Do we have a seconder?
I second the motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Lang. Councillors, I would like to speak to this motion. This is a really important opportunity for the local government sector to advocate for the funding for the sleep settling program offered by the Maternal Child Health Service to be reinstated. Councillors, as Mayor, I received information only towards the end of July, the end of May, that from the 1st of July, the department would no longer fund this important sleep and settling program, the group component of this program. In the words of the department, this decision reflects a broader effort to streamline program delivery and ensure the maternal and child health workforce is focused on core service provision. Now, councillors, as a parent, and I know many of you are also parents, sleep settling for me is a core part of the service that's offered by the maternal child health nurse. In fact, I think it's more than core. I think it's life-saving, and particularly in a group setting, particularly when you have new parents that can feel so unsure and so uncomfortable and need the support of groups around them to really let them know they're not on their own, they're not isolated. I really do believe that this is a critical service that should be funded by the state government. I'm also really disappointed that we were given such short notice while our budgets are already being set for the next year, that we weren't able to do anything in terms of additional funding. So at the moment, we're scrambling around now to see how we support such an essential service. So this MAV motion is really important to urgently ask the government to reconsider funding this essential service, and that for any future changes to the maternal and child health nurse delivery, that this does in partnership with council, recognising that this is a council service and we don't want things done to us. We want to work with the government and have things done together. So I really urge all of you councillors to support this MAV motion. Councillor Lang, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I will just confirm a few things that you said. You are so right. This is not just a nice to have, it is vital. It is vital for new parents, it was vital for families' functionality. It is vital to ensure that we have safety within our homes, because sleep deprivation puts that at risk. So what does this really equate to? So in Manningham, we currently deliver 3 days per week of outreach in our maternal child health nurse, which is highly valued and taken up by the community. in this sleep and settling program. This would be then, because of this withdrawal, and we actually ask for this to be urgently reconsidered, but because of this proposal of withdrawal, it would mean it would be only 1 day, but all the group programs gone. So that isolates people. That makes them feel like the challenge that they're having with their families and their newborn is only their own, and they've got no ability to share that with anybody else, and they've only got 1 day to ever seek help. So we are putting our families at risk by this reduction. And we've had a very long-standing collaboration with our state government on delivering our maternal child health services. So it is disappointing for all of a sudden them to be pulled away and to leave our families potentially isolated and suffering. So we do call for this to be urgently reconsidered, and I know the Department of Health suggests that early parenting centres could maybe take up this load. We don't have them here in Manningham, so where are our local residents going to go? So we urge the state government to help look for these early parenting centres that can help with these nurse appointments, to urgently reconsider this withdrawal and to continue our 3-day-a-week sleep and settling program that includes group sessions. We're supported by, at this stage, Monash City Council and Yarra Ranges City Council have provided in-principle support for our Manningham motion, as we have done with some of their motions as well. And this is because local government wants to work with our state and federal governments, because it's about the health and well-being of our communities, and that is the core of what we do. Maroondah, in supporting this, we are also supporting other councils. So with Maroondah City Council, we're supporting them with their community satisfaction survey motion. Knox, we're supporting them with resourcing our Victoria Police and our youth services. And with Whitehorse, we're supporting them with looking at, really
Thank you, Councillor. Time.
tackling the concerns.
Would you like an extension of time, Councillor?
Yes.
Can we put that to a vote? All those in favour? Councillor Lang. Councillor Lang, did you want to vote?
Yes.
Okay,
For my extension, yes.
That's carried. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. So we are supporting Whitehorse City Council with raising concerns about the urban densification, and looking at stronger protections of our open space. And we are also looking for supporting them with the penalties of illegal tree removal. And then our Yarra Ranges Shire Council as well. So we're looking to support them on statewide research into occupational violence and a framework that helps support women and young people want to join local government. So you can see, as an eastern region, we have picked up some really important concerns and issues, and we are supporting each one of those to take to our municipal association to advocate for us and all of our communities together to our state government. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Great summary. Do I have any speakers against the motion? Any other speakers for the motion? Councillor Chen.
I think that I just want to have the emotion to have to speak to the motion. And basically, I think that the group session provide an early preventive help, and it could boost new moms' confidence to deal with baby sleeping issues and help moms feel less alone. And these services are a lifeline, not a luxury. And I know how important the program is because sleep programs were not available to me when I had my children. That's why whenever I think about my own experience, I still got very emotional because I remember that as a young mom in a foreign country at that time, and I tried to deal with my own emotions and I tried to put myself together when my babies just would not stop crying at night or perhaps even the whole day. I just could not figure out where did they get those energies from? Did I have done anything wrong? Was I not a good mom? So that's the questions always in my mind, and I ask myself again and again. Yes, I finally managed to survive these sleepless nights with crying babies on my side. It was really difficult, and even now, whenever I meet a new mom, my first questions to them always, did your baby sleep well? And I know that it was really important to any new mom and still very important now. So another consequence of asking the group session is a still increased demand for more intensive one-on-one services and stay-in-home programs, leading to blowouts on wait lists. So Mayor's Sleep and Settle program fosters a child's development and family well-being. So we will have less argument between mom and dad, and either involving the whole family together. I believe that a healthy family directly contributes positively to society and foster a more resilient community. Although the decision has been revised further back to August, perhaps due to a lot of complaint about notification. And we still need to urge the state government to reconsider the decision, and any change of maternity health program delivery should be communicated with efficient notice according to the service agreement. So council will have time to engage with our community to find a way around, and so that's to ensure that the services provide a community without any interruptions, and that is just such a basic service, let me put that way. So by doing that, we can only work together constructively as a true partner with the state government together to support the sustainable maternal and child health services for all Victorian families. I speak from my own experience. That is why I really urge the state government, and you have new mom, you have been mom before, you know that is so critical. So just reconsider. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you for sharing your experience. I'll put that to a vote. Oh, Councillor El Taha.
Thank you. I'll just round out the personal experiences and how much I support the state government reconsidering this decision. I can't even really recall how I felt as a new mum and a human being as I had a little baby screaming night after night, with doctors insisting that it was reflux. And not until I got the help from a sleep and settling program did we actually realise it was just an absolute lack of sleep. I can't explain what a difference it made to me as a new mum, actually, when my baby was able to sleep for the first time, and what a difference it made to our lives, and also just as a parent. I didn't have a lot of friends around me who had children, and therefore the support of those sorts of services were really life-saving for me. And I think that that's very important to realise not everyone has a big network around them, or sometimes grandparents don't remember all of these things. You know, you turn to your parents and your elders for help, but sometimes they've forgotten some of the details. And I just think it's just incredibly important that sleep often gets overlooked as how pivotal it is to infants. Everyone talks about feeding, but I argue that sleep is just as important. And it's often overlooked and something to get cut. And I think that it is that would be a grave mistake. So I would strongly urge the reconsidering of this from the state government as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor, and thank you for sharing your experience. Would any other councillor like to speak to the motion? I'll put that to a vote. All of those in favour? And that's carried unanimously. Item 13.4. Informal meetings of councillors. Do I have a mover?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I move that the recommendation be adopted.
Thank you, Councillor El Taha. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Griffiths. Councillor El Taha, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, please, Madam Mayor. So over the last month, there were several meetings undertaken by councillors and council officers covering a broad range of topics across the Manningham municipality. The items discussed range from sports and recreation facilities, planning permits, the CEO remuneration, and briefings from external parties. There were also various committee groups that met, including the Youth Advisory Committee, Multicultural Communities Advisory Committee and the Health and Wellbeing Advisory Committee, two of which I sit on, and it was a pleasure to be a member of and to attend. So I just want to say that I think it's really important that the community is aware of all the other work that goes on in the background, and I think it's great that we publish these meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Griffiths, would you like to speak to the motion? No. Do I have any speakers against the motion? Any other speakers for the motion? I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? And that's carried. Thank you. Councillors. Item 13.5, documents for sealing. Do I have a mover?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the recommendation be adopted with the addition of the following two documents. A lease between the Council and Erstein nominees and Geneva Holdings for the Bulleen Plaza Council Library, and also a deed of renewal and a variation of licence between the Council and the organisation Kinetic for the premises at 2 to 14 Webster's Road, Templestowe.
Thank you, Councillor Bain. Do I have a seconder?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Main. I'm just going to put that to a vote. All those in favour? And that's carried. Thank you, councillors. Item number 14, Chief Executive Officer, and there are no Chief Executive Officer reports for this month. Item number 15, Urgent Business, and there are no items of urgent business. Item number 16, Councillor Reports and Question Time. Councillors, would anyone like to raise a question or provide a report? Councillor Laura Main.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to congratulate the Manningham Business Network for celebrating their 21st birthday a few weeks ago. This network did a great job promoting small businesses in our local area and fostering collaboration between them. The celebration was a great night with past, present and prospective members chatting away and offering support to each other. Every time I attend one of these business breakfasts, I always come away meeting great people and learning something new from one of their many interesting speakers. So for anyone who wants to join, the next business breakfast will be at Manningham Function Centre on September 9th. So I'd like to thank the network for everything they do for our community, and I wish them well for the next 21 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Main. Any other councillors like to make a report or ask a question? Councillor Goff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I suppose a lot of things are going on in our community, and I think the areas of Bulleen has been under a bit of attack from a lot of things from all sides, and people are getting a little bit sick of a few things. And one of them is the NELP parking issue. And indeed, we've got lots of people along Golden Way that are letting us know about it, but it's actually brought the traffic to park in the car park of Morris William Reserve. And people aren't at the kindergarten area, and also just down on Egan Drive and other areas around the park. There is a street there that has there's a lot of utility vehicle traffic parking there for a day or more, or day actually, and it's becoming an issue down there. So I'm just raising that here at the meeting and hoping that we could actually get some feedback as to how we can perhaps expand what we do with parking restrictions again into that area for 2 hours or so, because indeed it's affecting ability, because it is a pinch point between St Clement's and picking up kids and everything else, St Clement's and the park, and again if it's being for that time. So that's one issue. The other issue is we're doing some good work down there and mulching our trees and doing all the stuff around the park, but let us not forget the elm trees in Egan Drive, which also need to be protected. They are protected elm trees, so we need to be protecting them. So that needs to be mulched, and also if we can check the grates and drainage around the area. There are reports that some of them are clogged up with dirt. So I just thought I'd raise those. I know they're minute items, but people of that area are getting a bit agitated, especially with the parking.
Thank you,
going into
Councillor.
that
Did
area.
you want the CEO to respond to your question on the parking or during the meeting?
Yeah, I'm happy to provide a brief response. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to the community as well for their patience. It's been a challenging time to work through the parking restrictions. We appreciate the inconvenience, but also their willingness to work with us on bringing in those restrictions. So just in terms of the first tranche, we've rolled out the first tranche now, and we do appreciate that there has been some migration of parking into other areas as well. I do give you that assurance, Councillor, that officers are monitoring that very carefully, looking at the complaints that are coming through from community and indeed the impacts on our trucks and the like as well in some of those streets. So officers are actively looking at it and considering recommendations to roll out some temporary parking restrictions a little bit further as we speak.
Thank you, Councillor Goff, for raising that, and thank you, Andrew. Other councillors? Councillor Lang.
Thank you. I've recently had quite a few community consultation sessions. So we've had one on Jumping Creek Road, where the major project to rebuild the road from Warrandyte Ringwood Road to Homestead. In this area, residents have been raising concerns about their driveway access, medical visits, mobility, safety during construction. And these are all real concerns, but I'm pleased to report that Manningham Council officers have been committed with clear communication, one-on-one support and practical solutions. So I look forward to the next drop-in session on Monday, the 8th of September, to continue these conversations about our residents' safety and amenity. We've also had the main Yarra Trail Stage 3, which is part of the regional link for Mullumbullen Reserve East Link trails, maybe potentially Lilydale Warburton Trail. Look, there are some major concerns with the option that is being proposed, and our biggest concerns are safety and amenity, and of course doing it all within the complementary to the environment. I note that there has been quite a few consultation sessions on this, but residents are still providing feedback about environmental concerns, the materials used, and also the safety to the road. Their only example is the section from Beasley's nursery up or down, which the footpath is so close to the road. And as a parent of a cycling son, I'm constantly afraid that he will be doing something silly, not pay attention and go straight into the road. So I share my community's concerns about safety of this option and encourage Council to look into ways to make our links for regional purposes safe for our communities. But pleased to report we've been busy.
Thank you, Councillor Time.
In the sporting fields too.
Thank you,
with lots of
Councillor.
success.
Councillor Chen.
Just a report that attended Manningham Council Band's annual gala concert recently and was honoured to present Life Member Award to Martin Boer. And Martin is a young man dedicating many years to the roles of secretary and now president. And Martin also has worked tirelessly to secure grants and representing the band in advisory groups. So Manningham Council Band, we all know that is one of the Victoria's oldest council band and turned 50 last year. So the band comprises over 50 members and provides an opportunity for children, students and adults to participate in a community music making environment. So the band's next concert is their spring favorites on Sunday, 26th October. Children under 13 are free. We all love freebie, and especially for children, that's really important, especially you can take them away from the sports commitments to arts and music. And I encourage residents to mark your calendar, come along and enjoy an afternoon of great music on 26th of October. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Councillor Chen. Councillor El Taha.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to take extension from Councillor Chen and also share some community events that are upcoming. Firstly, I'd like to alert everyone that the Doncaster Dragons Basketball Club are hosting 2 Come and Try days. You can attend one or both. The first one is this Sunday and the next one on Sunday, the 14th of September. Details on their social media. The atmosphere of the Diamond is really sublime, and the session promises to be very engaging for keen youngsters who, as we all know, enjoy swinging a bat around. The Manningham United Club is also hosting its annual Female Football Shield on Sunday the 7th of September, a day celebrating football in our community, and the match promises to be riveting. On the 17th of September, as part of Council Dementia Awareness Week, FOMDAC is hosting an afternoon tea with Kobe, the Chesham being the star, which will be an important event for raising community awareness on this very important issue. And finally, given the ongoing genocide in Gaza and the accelerated expansion of illegal settlements by Israel into the Palestinian territories, jointly leading to the brutal erasure of the Palestinian people, which many in Manningham are directly as well as indirectly impacted by, local community advocates, Menzies for Palestine, have organised a community solidarity gathering in Warrandyte this Saturday morning. Prominent community leaders will be speaking, including local Amin Abbas, who's the founder of Olive Kids Foundation, Melbourne University historian Dr. Jordana Silverstein from the Loud Dew Collective, and prolific activist Robert Martin. I encourage anyone from any background feeling dismayed by the atrocities they are witnessing to come together in community to combat the feeling of helplessness, isolation and despair, and find solace in the call for justice, freedom and equality for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor El-Tahad. Do I have any other councillor who would like to make a report or ask a question? Councillor Griffiths.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Another event that I did want to promote is the Phoenix Theatre Company. For councillors, if you're not aware, that this was formed in 1995 following the amalgamation of two local Manningham-based theatre companies, the Doncaster Templestone Music Society and Footlights Theatre Company, if you want to aware. They have a musical called the Heathers, the musical. It's basically a darkly comedic rock musical based on the 1989 cult film Heathers. So they have on Friday the 5th of September, 6th of September, 11th September, 12th September and 13th of September availability for anyone who wants to go along and see them, and we love to promote their work, so keep up the good work. And also another one, Madam Mayor, I just wish to say a huge congratulations to all the footy clubs within Manningham for their finals. For those that have won the finals, for those that are continuing in their finals, keep it up. Let's go and support them all, and let's make Manningham a bigger place to play sport in.
Thank you so much, Councillor Griffiths. Councillor Conlon.
I'm going to try and squeeze a lot in my 2 minutes. Firstly, there's a hairpin bend on Stinton's Road that I go past often. The armour rail, whatever you call that galvanised stuff, has been knocked over, and then it's gone through, and it's been knocked over again. And I'm really concerned about the safety of that particular corner, and I was wondering if I could get a briefing from officers about what the possibilities are of fixing that. There's currently nothing there, and people coming off that road will go straight into a tree. Moves me on to my second thing, which is congratulations to the Thunderball Committee for such a great event the other night. It's interesting that night was there to raise money for a truck for the state emergency service, which was great. But isn't it strange that we're trying to raise money for the state emergency service when we've got this emergency services and volunteers fund that is supposed to be doing, I would have thought, the same thing. And I'm really concerned about this fund as to where the money's going to, but also a question for the CEO. I'd like to understand what response have we had from our residents in regard to us notifying them that they have to basically, they're doubling down on the fire levy for this emergency services fund, and also what are we doing in response to that? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Conlon. I will ask our CEO to respond to the question about the Emergency Services Volunteer Fund levy.
Great, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Conlon. Yeah, we have had community members reach out to us, which we often do when the race notices first go out, and there has been increased awareness this year now that we have highlighted out state government charges, as many councillors have this time round, to residents. One of the concerns obviously is around the significant increase in the emergency services and volunteer levy, the impact that's had on their rates bill and cost of living. The second one was indeed some concern raised now that they have some awareness that council has this role in terms of collecting revenue and fees on behalf of the state government. So there's a lot more awareness and some concern about council's role in having to do that. And the third thing was indeed about what council was doing in relation to advocacy around it as well. And I would say that our focus has very much been about providing information and supporting the Municipal Association of Victoria in their ongoing campaign in this space and advocacy to the state government and ministers as well. So we've been very active in providing that information and supporting that position, because obviously it's a statewide issue as well that we have to acknowledge. Certainly our friends in regional Victoria have been heavily hit by as well.
Thank you, Councillor Conlon, for raising such an important issue. And the Thunderball raised almost $80 million for that. 80 million, oh my goodness, 80,000.
Refund for all the...
We wish, Madam Mayor.
Point of order on the Mayor, she's getting tired. $80,000, councillors. Thank you, thank you. Councillors, I have a statement and 3 questions, so I'm going to talk quickly. Congratulations to the City of Banyule for getting the National Gallery of Australia exhibition of the Heidi School of Painters. It's an amazing exhibition. I was invited there Saturday night. I encourage all of you to go down to the Banyule Gallery at the old Heidelberg Town Hall. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful seeing images of our bushland and our Yarra River almost returned 140 years later. I do have 3 questions, councillors. The first one is to our Director of City Services. Our Applewood residents are so worried about the traffic lights outside their property on Tram Road. Motorists are running through them. There's been many near misses. Ironically, the residents are now too scared to turn out of there because of the traffic lights. I would just like to ask the Acting Director of City Services what we're doing to advocate to DTP on such an important matter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The traffic signals on Tram Road near Applewood are managed by the Department of Transport and Planning, DTP. We have reviewed the traffic signals, and whilst it adheres with relevant standards, we have addressed the concerns of the Applewood Residents Committee with DTP. We will continue to advocate for improvements at our next meeting with DTP on Thursday, 28th August. We're also communicating with police, asking for additional patrols of the area.
Great, thank you. And my next 2 questions, councillors, relate to the North East Link, which is a gift that just keeps on giving. The Juventus Soccer Club, which runs parallel to the Eastern Freeway, Old Boys have been urgently advocating for an increase in the height of the sound wall. It was meant to be 10 metres. It's now been reduced to between 9 and 8 metres because it's a triangular height. But the sound wall has come in up to 3 metres closer than the original one, and there are no trees. So they're very, very concerned about soccer balls just continually going on to the freeway. So that's my first question. And then my second question, I'm very, very concerned, councillors, about the proposed plans to use one of our streets, Hender Street, as the Doncaster Road on-ramp to the Eastern Freeway. I do not believe this is acceptable from a safety perspective or amenity perspective. So I would like to get an officer response on our advocacy to NELP on these 2 issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for the questions. In relation to Park Avenue and with the North East Link project freeway widening, officers and Manningham Juventus have raised concern to the North East Link project team regarding the new safety concerns at Park Avenue Reserve. Increased risk has been identified due to the changes with the freeway infrastructure being built closer to the sports field. This has been further exacerbated, as you mentioned, by the NELP tree removal adjacent to the soccer field, which previously provided a natural buffer to stop and slow the soccer balls from entering the freeway. These new conditions increase the chances that soccer balls will land on the freeway, and with high volumes of traffic and high speeds, there is cause for safety concern. The current NELP design does not allow for ball stop fencing or netting in this location, which is what you see further down along the freeway for the golf courses, and also what NELP provided for other sporting sites along the project corridor. As you mentioned, the noise wall that's there can provide a buffer, but what we're questioning is whether the height is the right height. Officers have requested that NELP undertake an assessment specifically for Park Avenue Reserve to assess the increased risk that has been caused by the new conditions from the NELP freeway widening and to ensure that the project mitigate the impacts. An on-site meeting has also been requested and we're awaiting a response from the project team in relation to that matter.
Thank you, Julia.
In terms of the second question with Doncaster Park and Ride and Hender Street, as part of the ongoing upgrade to the Doncaster Road Bridge, the Burt to Tram Alliance, which is a BTA contractors, will commence construction of the temporary outbound on-ramp, which they're calling the T2 ramp, in September 2025, with works expected to continue through to the end of 25. The entry point for the temporary on-ramp will be located at the intersection of Doncaster Road and Hender Street, following the alignment of Hender Street up to Finlayson Street, and then passing through the existing Doncaster Park and Ride site. As a result of these works, NELP have communicated to Council and the community that local traffic will no longer be able to enter or exit Hender Street via Doncaster Road. This is in the temporary conditions, but also in the permanent condition. All local traffic will be redirected through the surrounding local road network, including Petty's Lane and Harcourt Street. And vehicle access to several properties will be restricted, with alternative parking arrangements to be offered for these impacted properties. We are highly concerned about the impacts that this arrangement will have on local residents in relation to noise, access, safety and general amenity due to the close proximity of the temporary ramp to residential properties and changed access arrangements. We also have significant concerns in relation to traffic impacts for the local street network between Hender Street and Petty's Lane and continue to request that NELP provide traffic modelling data to demonstrate no unreasonable impacts. Officers have formally raised these issues with NELP through multiple avenues and continue to advocate for improved measures or an alternative arrangement to minimise impacts to residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia, for that comprehensive response, and it seems like we need to do some more advocacy around that. Okay. Thank you, councillors. Very enlightening. Item number 17, confidential reports, and there are no confidential reports this month. So that brings me to declare the meeting is closed. Thank you, everyone.